this video, I'll be pointing out a nail in the coffin that cannot be disproven, and it is the best explanation of how they are faking space that you will ever hear from any flat earther. A YouTuber by the name of Dave McKeegan recently put out a video entitled, "Can Space Deniers Explain This Video?" I am a space skeptic, or what you would call a denier, right? And I would like to attempt to expose or explain why space is F-A-K-E. You know, we got to do that for the algorithm, right? In Dave's video, he basically pointed out a lot of observations. He was showing astronauts floating around doing their thing aboard the space station. And he was pointing out that there's no way they could be performing all of these tasks with harnesses on. And I actually agree with Dave. I don't think that the harness theory is the end all be all, meaning that many flat earthers are skeptical of space, but they all don't agree exactly how it's faked, but they all agree that it's faked. So Dave pointed out a video that he feels is undeniable proof that space is real and that astronauts are floating around doing everything that we see them doing. And just to give you an idea, I'll give you a sneak peek of Dave's video.
Another suggestion is the use of wires, that the astronauts are suspended on a harness in order to allow them to create the impression of floating for long periods of time. However, if you watch like acrobats, having a pair of wires at your waist leaves you hanging feet down, and you have to be very physical to rotate yourself around. And even then, you wind up flipping back round to where you started. And even if you were able to get the harness points placed perfectly that you could hang balanced in any direction, the moment you extend your arms or you pick up any object, you would immediately move your center of mass, and so you would then become unbalanced. For example, the iconic scene in Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise is hanging just off the floor with a pair of wires around his waist. Tom actually explained in an interview afterwards that he needed to put coins in his shoes to keep him balanced because he kept tilting.
I went down to the floor and I kept hitting my face, hitting my face, and the take didn't work. So I went up to the stunt guys and I said, "Give me, coins." So I put pound coins in and I hung on the cables to see was I level.
And even with those coins, you can see he still frantically needs to move his arms back and forth to control his center of gravity to stop him tilting. Yet in the ISS footage, we can see astronauts moving freely in all directions, moving their limbs about with no sudden changes to their balance either. To get that sort of effect on Earth would require multiple pairs of wires, such as being attached to their arms and legs as well, in order to allow full external control of the person's balance and to allow them to float around whilst essentially lying down, kind of like a puppet on strings. However, that creates its own problems. You can see astronauts moving between compartments through very small hatchways, and there are many clips with astronauts together floating past each other, which, if they were all on wires, would cause the wires to tangle up with each other. Now, for a while, the go-to challenge video to ask these conspiracy theorists to explain has been the 50-minute long ISS tour video, which involves astronaut Steve Swanson taking us on a detailed look around many different compartments of the ISS, all in a single unbroken video. However, I think I found a video that one-ups even that tour video for being undebunkable. This is a video on the European Space Agency's YouTube channel. It's just over 6 minutes long, and it takes the camera through the Columbus laboratory, through the JAXA's Kibo module, and finishes up in the docked Dragon capsule, ending with a view of Earth out of the window. Now, sure, you might be thinking, How does this trump the 50-minute tour? Well, the key difference is that this ESA video is a 360-degree video. This was part of a series of videos called Cosmic Kiss that were shot by ESA astronaut Matthias Maurer. Many of them are videos where the camera is in one spot and you can see the astronauts all working around it. There's one video showing a crew arriving at the ISS, and there's this one, which is a float through the space station, ending up at one of the windows looking out at Earth. But during the entire time, you can actually control the direction of where you're viewing and where you're looking, so you can look wherever you want. It's not like people can argue that they're using careful camera control to hide the views of the wires or whatever, because I've seen that claim previously made, that they're using an ISS interior mock-up with gaps in the ceiling for the wires to go through, and then they just CGI the ceiling back in afterwards. Well, this video allows you to view the ceiling as they are moving through hatchways into different compartments with not a single wire in sight. Not only that, but as Matthias moves into the Dragon capsule near the end, he has to pass through a very narrow gap between several white storage boxes, which would be pretty damn impossible to do with wires attached to him. Plus, the thing is in darkness and Matthias has to hold out a handheld light in order to find his way through. That would be some insanely complex CGI at play.
I'm gonna give a theory on how space is fake that can't be debunked. It can't be disproven. It can only be disagreed with, ridiculed, and mocked, but no one can say that's impossible. And to me, this is the nail in the coffin. It's so simple. And why wouldn't they do it if you understand that they make billions of dollars every year for people believing in space? People was buying into the space program before they actually proved that it was real. So why would they stop that budget when they figure out there is no space, which they found out during Operation Fishbowl? So they have all the reasons to want to fake it. There's a lot on the line for them, and I don't think the people in power had the integrity when they figured this out back in the day to literally report to the public that, yes, the ancestors was right about the shape of the earth and space isn't what we thought it was. Do they have that kind of integrity? Will they end such a lucrative budget after finding out this ancient truth? Often, the truth is a very simple answer. And when you come with the truth in the world of lies, the simple truth is met with ridicule and resistance versus legitimate rebuttals. So what is this nail in the coffin? What is this truth? Space is AI generated, everyone. This is my opinion. This is my theory. And I'm going to keep it and hold dear to it. Why? It can't be disproven. To understand the depth of my claim, watch this video that I'm about to play next. This is the introduction to a video from Morse Critical, as many know him as Penguins. But check this out, and later we'll show you why the timestamps is so important on here. The first 15 seconds, which is this intro, is very important to the argument that I'm about to make here in a minute. So let's check it out.
Now, I've seen some dumb shit in my time. I've reviewed games that felt like a digital lobotomy. I've watched trends that made me question the collective sanity of the species, but this takes the goddamn cake, eats it, shits it out, and then charges you premium for the fertilizer. That's right, old man blabbering about AI videos again, but this time I'm not yapping about how common they are. I'm talking about how popular they are.
So basically, Morse Critical is doing this video on AI, and up until now, he's been reviewing fairly normal, moderate AI. It's not too advanced or complicated, but now at this part, he's finna get into how realistic AI is, that is almost indistinguishable from reality now, and he calls it deceptive AI.
Now, those are blatantly obvious AI. But we are also now seeing the rise of deceptive AI that tries to pretend that it's authentic, organic, real content. And unfortunately, it's getting pretty good. Sometimes it's hard to tell unless you're paying close attention. For example, how many of you even noticed that the first 15 seconds of this video that you're watching right now was AI generated? Wasn't real. It was fake. The intro was AI generated by a Reddit user, script, video, voice, all AI. None of it authentic, but convincing enough unless you're paying close attention.
The first 15 seconds of this video wasn't even real. Let's watch it again.
Now, I've seen some dumb shit in my time. I've reviewed games that felt like a digital lobotomy. I've watched trends that made me question the collective sanity of the species, but
that's fake. You gotta realize that the AI software that he used to make that isn't even the best AI software. And what do we know for a fact? That the people in power have the best technology before we have it. What are the chances that the people in power has very advanced AI software that can just generate a video of astronauts floating around in space and everything, and people say, well, they don't got harnesses. How are they doing it if it's fake? It's simpler than you think. And I'm going to prove to you that this is possible with some good advanced technology like what we just saw. Imagine what the government got. Imagine what the government got if we just saw that video and it was fake. The lines between real and fake is being blurred, which is why you need to be questioning everything now, because the truth is being revealed in the world, but only a few will see it. I'm going to show you right now how this is totally possible. And like I said, you can't debunk this. You can't prove that they don't have the technology to do this when we got it. So what are we looking at now? We're looking at a real image of a real ISS crew member inside of the ISS mock version doing a little walkthrough. I just basically saved this image from off of Google. It is just a simple image of a guy crawling around a mock version of the ISS. So this is on Earth right here. This is not the real ISS. This is him in a fake mock version of it. I repeat. But I'm going to show you how powerful AI is. I can take this still image of him in this fake ISS capsule and turn it into a real movie of him literally floating around being in space. And just keep in mind that the AI video generator I'm using isn't the best one. So you kind of have to imagine that there are levels to these generators. And I'm sure that the people in power will have the most advanced AI generation technology. So let's just show you what the AI can do with this simple still picture. Let's check it out. I did several versions of this, and minus the little glitches on the face, the weird little mouth. I mean, if you perfect this technology, which I really believe they have, then you can literally fake space just by generating AI content, AI videos. Faking space is easier than we think. They don't have to use harnesses and all that stuff. The government have always been ahead of the masses when it comes to technology. And I'm sure they got some deep fake technology that's on steroids. So can't no one say that what I'm saying is impossible. They can call it stupid and, like I said, ridicule it and all that. But it's a very legitimate theory. We can't just knock it off the table. And it's very possible that this can be done. And in fact, this is a very simple, legitimate explanation if you wanted to just use Occam's razor, because all of the theories and the train of lies that they need to explain the legitimacy of space is all baloney. It's a bunch of malarkey and theoretical mumbo jumbo that makes no sense. What does make sense is that they've been faking it. It's a simple answer. We see Hollywood fake stuff all the time and make it look realistic. But AI is better than Hollywood. Now, I know a lot of people who believe in space are not going to like what I'm showing here, but space cannot be proven just by watching videos and saying, why would they fake it? That's not proof. And you can't get mad at the people that's seeking proof. Least they're not lazy. Least they want the truth. You just want to maintain the status quo and you don't want to challenge anything that you were taught. But you can't get mad at others for questioning everything. People, the explanation that I'm giving right now is the best explanation from a flat earther to date. And it's one that can't be disproven. It can be rejected. It is so easy to fake space with AI. And we know they got AI. We know that they got very advanced AI that can do everything that I'm showing you. And that's capable of faking space and making it believable to everyone. And the only thing they will have to do is take a space crew, a ISS crew, and they can put them in a mock ISS set that's on the ground because there's nothing out there. And I'll be doing more videos to prove that the ISS is fake. I'll be showing you arguments that debunk it. But this particular video is a response to Dave and his harness idea. I was never a big fan of the harness idea. I think my theory, my explanation right now is the best explanation from any flat earther concerning this matter to date, which is why you need to help make this video viral. So it's very easy to fake space with advanced AI, and we know they've been had AI, and we know that their AI has been far way ahead of everyone else's for a long time. The question would be, how long have they been faking space? There's a lot of red flags, like during the time NASA was being formed was during the same time Photoshop was invented. So every picture that we ever got of the Earth is Photoshop, and it's even been admitted to be Photoshop. When you think about that, and you think about the fact that Photoshop came into existence when NASA came into existence, and that's when we start getting all of these photos of space. This video is particularly responding to Dave McKeegan. He asked the question, can space deniers explain his video? I just explained it. I just gave a very legitimate explanation that cannot be disproven. Space is so easy to fake with advanced AI. All they would have to do is take a space crew or an ISS crew, whatever you want to call it, and they can put them in a mock space station that's on the ground and do just what I did in my example. They can take a still photo of the space crew, and they can put that still photo in an AI photo to video generator. And the photo to video generators that they got, like I said, they're on steroids. We showed y'all the generators that Morse Critical use, and he's just a regular person. He's not a government agency. He's using software that anyone can use offline. And it's looking very realistic. So imagine what they have to deceive the masses with. We can't trust nothing we see today, nothing on TV. If you send a speech from a president or an event unfold, how do we know that ain't an AI generated video? All they will have to do to fake space with this technology is take a crew, put them inside of the mock ISS that's on the ground, because we know ain't none out there in space. Space is fake. And I'll be doing a video to debunk that even more, but we got to stay on track and only deal with Dave McKeegan's argument here. He wanted an explanation. I gave him one. They're not going to like it. And I'm predicting them because they're so predictable. They're going to laugh, ridicule, and all of that, but they're not going to disprove nothing I said. And they can't say it's stupid. They can't say it's impossible. And they can't disprove it, which is the most important thing. And if it can't be disproven, you can laugh all you want. Until you're disproven, I'm going to stand on it. They can take a space crew. They can put them in a mock space station on the ground and take a photo of them. And they can put that photo in a software that is called a photo to video generator. And they can write out a script of what they want the still photo astronauts to do when AI turn that into a movie. AI is going to turn the still photo into a movie just like I did. You're going to write the script out on what you want them to do. You can put the photo into the generator and write a little script. Make these astronauts float around and eat corn chips and do flips. Make them go through doors, make them tinker with devices. And then you put the still photo in and it comes to life. AI brings it to life. And it's so realistic that any space believer would say, take that, flat earth. But again, people who don't want to question everything don't really want the truth, because they want tradition, which is comfortable. It's everything I've always known. But to get humanity to the next level of our spiritual evolution, we gotta get over this hump. We can't ignore it. Be sure to get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this video. I will be responding to comments in the comment section. See y'all there. Peace and much love.